Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am saying a big thank you to all my subscribers, and if you are yet to subscribe to the channel, please do so now. Thank you so much. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to cut and sew this overlap dress with shawl collar. Now let's jump right into the tutorial. I am starting with the back pattern. The dress will have a zip at the back, so I'm leaving a space of 1.5 inches at the side. I use the pen to mark it because I will still alter the zip allowance. Next, I will leave a space of 0.5 inch at the top, and that will be the shoulder line. Then I'll mark the chest line, which is 9 inches from the shoulder. Then the waistline, which is 15 inches from the shoulder. The actual shoulder to waist measurement of this dress is 17 inches, but I'm marking 15 inches now because I'll be adding a waistband of 2 inches. Next, I'll mark the shoulder measurement on the shoulder line and chest line. The shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus 0.5 inch, and I'll connect with a straight line. Then on the waistline, I'll go in with my bust span measurements divided by 2 and mark it on the waistline and chest line, and I'll connect with a ruler. Now, to avoid any bulge at the center back, I'll go in by 0.75 inch at the waistline and I'll connect to the top. After that, I will now remark the 1.5 inches for the zip allowance. Next, I will mark my bust measurement on the chest line, bust divided by 4, and I'll also mark my waist measurement on the waistline, the waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch allowance for that, and I'll connect with a straight line. To plot the neckline, I'll use a neck depth of 2 inches and a neck width of 3.5 inches, and I'll connect with my curve. Then I'll come down on the shoulder line by 1 inch and connect to the neckline. That will be for the shoulder slope. From the shoulder slope, I'll divide what I have left into 2 and mark the midpoint. Then I'll connect these 3 points together with my curve to form the armhole. Now to the dart, I'll go in by 0.5 inch on both sides of the dart leg. Then on the chest line, I'll come down by 1 inch and I'll connect with a straight line to the dart. That is all on the back pattern. I'll cut it out now. To the front pattern now. The front is the major part of this dress because of the overlap and the shawl collar. So I'll start by leaving a space of 7 inches by the side of the paper and a space of 6 inches at the top. From the 6 inches mark, that will serve as the shoulder line. Then I'll mark the shoulder to the chest line, which is 9 inches, shoulder to the bust line, which is 11 inches, and shoulder to the waistline, which is 15 inches. So go ahead and mark your own measurements too. Next, I'll go in with the shoulder measurement. Shoulder divided by 2 plus 0.5 inch allowance. I'll mark it on the shoulder line and also on the chest line, and I'll connect with a ruler. Next, I'll plot the neckline using a neck width of 3.5 inches and a neck depth of 3 inches and connect with a curve. Then I'll come down by 1.5 inches on the shoulder for the shoulder slope and connect to the neckline. I'll go in with the bust measurement, bust divided by 4, and I'll make a mark there. Then from the chest line, I'll go up by 0.75 inches and make a mark also. I'll connect the 3 points together to form the armhole. I'll go in with the waist measurement, waist divided by 4, plus 1 inch allowance for that, and make a mark. Then I'll connect with a ruler. Next, I'll mark the bust span measurement on the bust line and waistline and connect with a ruler. Then I'll go in by 0.5 inch on both sides and connect it back to the bust line. Now, to achieve that overlap in front of the dress, I'll measure what I have left from the dart leg to the center front, and whatever I get, I will extend it to the front. In my case here, I have 3.5 inches, and I'll extend that 3.5 inches just like you see me doing. Then from that extension, I'll connect with a straight line to the shoulder. The dress has a shawl collar, so I'll bring back the back pattern now and measure around the neckline because the collar will extend to the back. I'll leave out the zip allowance before measuring. Whatever I get after measuring, I'll mark it like you see me doing and connect with a ruler. Then from that point, I'll go out by 0.5 inch and connect it back. I'll use 3 inches for the width of the collar, and when it is folded, that means the collar will be 1.5 inches. So I'll mark 3 inches like you see me doing and connect it. From that point, I'll go up by 1 inch and connect it so that the collar can fall well to the back. And that is all on the front pattern. I'll cut it out now. I have transferred the patterns to the fabric, and this is what we have. I added 0.5 inch allowance at the top and bottom, and for the side joining, I added 2 inches allowance. For the front, I'll cut out a facing and a lining. To cut the facing, I'll get the midpoint of the shoulder, and from the midpoint, I'll connect it to the dart leg. Then I'll fold the paper, just like you see me doing, and I'll cut out the facing. I will add a 0.5 inch seam allowance round the paper and cut out. To cut the lining now, I will divide the paper and pin it to the lining. I will add a 0.5 inch seam allowance round the paper and 2 inches joining allowance at the side. Here I am pinning the lining and the facing exactly the way I will stitch it. I will also pin it to the main fabric exactly the way I will join it. For the back pattern, I'll go ahead and close the neckline and the center back. To the down part of the dress now, I cut out 4 yards of fabric as the width, and the length is the full length of the dress minus the half length. I am using 2 yards for front and 2 yards for back. There will be a side joining because I'll be adding pockets to the sides. And I marked out my zip allowance at the back. This is what the back is looking like after adding the lining. From the neckline, I came down by 2.5 inches and I closed it. The remaining part I left open is for zip. And for the front, I'll go ahead and join the collar together. This is after joining the collar. I went ahead to press it nice and flat. Now I will join one piece of the front to the back. Please look at what I'm doing now. I will pin the center back to the center of the front collar, the part where I stitched earlier. Then I'll pin it round till I get the shoulder. That means I will join it from one end of the shoulder to the other. This is after I was done joining. I'll go ahead and pin the other piece now so that we can close the stitch inside. Please watch closely so that you can get what I'm doing now. I'll pin it from one shoulder to the other end and I'll go to the sewing machine and stitch. I am done stitching And this is it now. Remember, the overlap will start from one dart leg and end at the other dart leg. Then I'll fold the collar with 1.5 inches. I will pin the overlap like you see me doing and go over to the sewing machine and stitch it down. Doesn't matter that there's an excess at the bottom. I will cut it out. I have cut out my waistband and the width is 3 inches. By the time I stitch ½ inch at the top and ½ inch at the bottom, I will be left with 2 inches. This is it after I was done attaching the waistband and I joined the sides. I went ahead to overlock the raw edges and I also pressed the seams. I left out 7 inches opening for the pocket. For my pocket, I measured 12 inches length and 7 inches width. I will attach my pocket to each side of the opening and stitch it round. And I'll also do the same to the other pockets. I am done attaching the pockets. Now I will join the top and down part together. I'll make kissing plates round the waistline, and when I'm done, I'll show you what to do next. This is it after I was done with the plates round the waistline, and I've also fixed the zip. Now to the sleeve. I have my basic sleeve pattern, and this is what I'll be using to cut out the sleeve. I first folded my fabric into two, and then I folded it again in a bias form. Then I'll place my pattern paper on it and pin it down. Because the sleeve will have an elastic at the bottom and gathers at the top, I left a space of 2 inches at the center top and 4 inches at the bottom. And at the top, I extended it up by another 2 inches and curved it back into the sleeve. I went ahead to extend the sides of the sleeve by the same measurements I used earlier, and I'll connect with a ruler. I will go over to the sewing machine now and run a gather stitch at the top of the sleeves, and I'll hem the down parts. When I'm done, I'll show you what to do next. I will measure my armhole, and whatever I get has to be the same with the armhole of the sleeve after making the gathers. I'll fix my elastic on my sleeve now. I'm using 11 inches for the elastic. The length of the elastic depends on your round sleeve measurements. I will pull the gathers now and make sure that after I am done pulling, the armhole matches that of the dress. I'll go to the sewing machine and close the side joining of the sleeve and attach the sleeve to the dress. And when I'm done, I'll show you the finished look. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please click the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.